Hey all, Heretic here, and we are here with patch 24.6, just dropped. We just watched the announcement trailer. They mentioned absolutely nothing about Battlegrounds in the trailer for the patch, but luckily the patch notes dropped, and there seems to be some things in it. So we're just covering Battleground stuff here. That's what we do here. We're not going to look at the standard of the mercenaries, so if that's your thing, not your place. You want BGs, here's where we're going to look. We're looking for all the Battleground stuff. So let's scroll on down to the good stuff. See what we get. Now, I read through it a little bit beforehand, but I need to be semi-prepared for this, right? Like I'm professional. So let's look at the update. First things is some, changing to just the way things are worded. It doesn't affect gameplay at all, so that's fine. But right off the bat, we have a new Hero The Jailor. Runic power, 1 gold, give a minion +1/+1. After 9 friendly minions die, it upgrades. This is interesting. I don't think this is going to be all powerful by any stretch, but it depends how quickly we can upgrade this. It's kind of like, if you get enough minions to die, if you have a heavy death rattle token reborn board, you can get some good buffs on some minions. I don't think it's going to be broken by any stretch, but at 1 gold, armor tier 3, this could be decent. It doesn't look phenomenal by any stretch. It looks like it'll be fun to play around with and see how it works. So it's going to be there for 2 weeks if you've paid for the pass, and then it'll be available to everyone after the patch. So 2 weeks from now, basically, everyone can play it. If you're silly enough to buy the pass like me, then there you go. You can start it tonight. Some updates, some big changes. So Cthulhu previously, spend 2 gold, your hero power, at the end of your turn, give a friendly minion +1/+1, repletes 0 time, upgrades after each use. Well, now it's the same cost, same buff, but upgrades after each turn. So you no longer have to spend turn 1 hitting your hero power and hoping you find a token. Cthulhu just got buffed. Cthulhu is looking to be more impactful to the game. So I'm excited to play that. I always liked Cthulhu. It'll be interesting to see how he flushes out in the new system. Toki got some changes. Toki, now when you refresh the tavern for 1 gold, it includes 2 minions from a higher tavern tier when you use that hero power. I mean, that's a big difference. You're getting a lot more potential at getting some good minions. I don't know if it's going to flush out well. Toki's not one of my favorite heroes. She kind of depends on the armor, but let's wait and see, how it works out in gameplay. Rat King got a change. I'm interested to see how this works out because Rat King, I never really liked on the face of it, but I always had decent results with Rat Kings. It just never was exciting to play. To say, hey, I spent a couple gold, I got this minion that just happened to meet the random type of, and he's on the board, it gets nice stats. Now you discover a minion of that type. That does make it more useful in some ways, so I'm interested to see how that flushes out, but we'll see. I'm not really excited about Rat King, so we'll see. Maybe not. Now we've got some armor changes, and these are a big deal because this will affect how we complete quests. Now we've got heroes with less armor. Brucon, Pyramid, Rat King, no armor. That's going to make it tough to want to play Rat King. Never really cared that much for a Pyramid in this meta, and Brucon I do play a lot, so that'll be interesting to see. Bazile's now armor tier 2. Deathwing, Toki, Kurtrus, and Tavish all going to 3. Now the Toki one, we'll see. That shouldn't affect it too much. It's still relatively high armor considering they buffed the hero power, so it could still work. And Anixia is now tier 4. But now the big one where heroes get buffed. Patchwork is armor tier 2, so hey, you get all that health and a little armor. Still don't think I want to play Patchwork, but we'll wait and see. Alexstrasza and Ambassador Phelan both got buffed to armor 4. Pretty good considering how their hero powers work. That might be a reason to take them. Chenvala, Bigglesworth, and Zephyrus, tier 5. I think that's a big change. I mean, I have to admit, I always kind of want to play Bigglesworth. And now they have more armor. That's more tempting. So we'll see. So now we have the new quests. So these are going to be some new ones in there. And obviously, their difficulty to complete will vary from lobby to lobby. So don't hold too much value to these cards themselves. But hire an investigator. Right now, this one shows end of turn with unspent gold. Complete that portion of it. That's pretty good if you're using tavern tipper, stuff like that. I mean, there's some value there, so that's pretty interesting. Crack the case, have friendly minions attack 11 times. Pretty easy to do. Something tells me our minions are going to attack things, so this quest might be very doable. I don't know about you. My minions like to attack, so this is just the base. They will change, so Now the rewards. These are bonkers. So Blood Goblet, at the end of your turn, give the rightmost minion attack equal to your missing health. I mean, I don't really like buffing the rightmost minion that much, but if you think about it, if you're playing Patchwork and you've lost a bunch of health, you are going to give this thing a ton of, attack. We have Essence of Xeris. At the end of your turn, add a Shifter Xeris to your hand, which transforms into a random minion. If you know me, you know I hate this card when it's in the game, Shifter Xeris. I was so happy when it went away. And now there's a bloody quest that's going to be adding this thing to someone's hand all the time. As long as it's hard to complete this quest, I don't mind. But I hate when someone gets an early Shifter Xeris and they pop out a tier 6. It's just not fun. I used to hate it when someone would 3-on-3 and then on turn 4, they're like, surprise, with something tier 6 ridiculous that of course wins them the lobby. Hidden Treasure Vault. At the start of your turn, gain 1 gold. Upgrades each turn. I mean, if you could complete this even relatively early, this can be very, very good. This is a lot of economy depending which hero you're playing and what the shops are like. But I like this one a lot. A lot of potential here. Certainly good fun. Ethereal Evidence. At the start of every turn, choose from 2 new rewards. I'm not sure how that's going to work. So every turn, you're going to get a different quest reward. I don't know if I'm reading that wrong. It seems really bizarre and potentially incredibly powerful, but maybe I'm reading it wrong. But it sounds good. Volatile Venom. Your minions have +8/+8. After they attack, they die horribly. So, questions about this. I mean, is this really going to be good? I mean, obviously, if you're playing like a mech board or anything with divine shields, your minions dying horribly don't sound good. If you're playing, a beast board with lots of death rattles that summon more and more minions, this can be amazeballs. I mean, you're going to be going bonkers. So, be interesting to see how that plays out. It sounds very unique. Like whatever board you're playing, you're definitely going to be going into the token land when that happens. The Golden Hammer, Spellcraft, first time we've seen one of those. Make a friendly minion golden until your next turn. So, I mean, it sounds like every turn, once you get this, this will keep popping back in your hand. You can make a minion gold. Kind of cool, because sometimes you need different targeted, if anything, just buffs to your minions. So that's a pretty neat one. I like that. That has potential. Sinfall Medallion. After you play a minion, give 2 other friendly minions of its tavern tier +2/+2. I don't think this sounds very good compared to the other ones we're seeing. Making a minion gold, +8/+8. I mean, +2/+2 doesn't sound amazing, but it's good targeted buffs. They're permanent, I'm assuming, so that seems like that would work. Kidnap Sack. Spellcraft. Choose a non-golden minion, add it to your hand. I like this a lot. Since it's Spellcraft, I'm assuming you can target your own minions with this, so this means setting up pairs, setting up triples. This is really good. I think this one will probably be relatively difficult to complete. I like it a lot because you're going to have targeted tripling essentially in a couple turns. Even if you can only find 1 copy, 2 turns later, there you go. Now, we've got some quests and rewards updates too. Find the Murder Weapon has been reduced so it's easier to complete. Anima Bribe is gone, so we don't have to deal with the advanced dancing Daryl technique that was. Theodore's Parasol is back, which is cool. I was wondering where that went. I realized recently it was gone. I thought I just wasn't seeing it. Stolen Gold has its appearance rate reduced by 50%. Now, I don't know about you, but I wasn't seeing this very often to begin with, Stolen Gold. So I'm like, okay, so I never see it, and now I'm never ever going to see it. But when I see it, I'm going to feel like I have to take it. We'll see. Some of these new quests are interesting. I want to see how these rewards play out and everything. And now we have a bunch of new minions. I mean, there's just a lot of them. So let's take a look. Dozy Whelp, Tavern Tier 1 Dragon, 0 attack, 3 health. Whenever this minion is attacked, gain +1 attack permanently. I mean, that's a decent early minion, especially on those early tier minions that are all poking for 1 damage. This thing will get buffed pretty well. It's never really going to have enough attack, but if you put a Whelp Smuggler next to that, every time it gets attacked, it gets +1 attack, +1 health. That's nasty. That's really good for tier 1. So I want to see how that plays out. Patient Scout, 1 attack, 1 health. When you sell this, discover a tier 1 minion. Upgrades each turn. I'm curious to see how that works out. That is a really neat card. It's very low tier, so you're going to see a lot of them. Bristlemane Scrapsmith, Tavern Tier 3 Quillbore, 4 attack, 4 health. After a friendly taunt minion dies, get a blood gem. I don't know how much I care about this one. This seems definitely the least interesting of all the new minions coming out. But it's a Quillbore. Quillbore players rejoice? Question mark. Faceless Discipline. Tavern Tier 4, 6 attack, 4 health, Battle Cry, transform a minion to one of a Tavern Tier higher. This is going to be some fun shenanigans, and especially if you triple it, where it goes to a Tavern Tier 2 higher, you can get some really early 5s and 6s, and this is going to be fun. This is going to have some consequences, but it's random. You know, unless you're making a Tier 6, the pool is pretty large of minions you're going to find, so still going to be a good time. It's just going to be, you know, there's going to be a day where you're going to have a brand. You're going to happily play it on a minion. You're going to turn it into the perfect Tier 5 minion. It's going to be a mama bear, and you're going to have a bunch of beasts in the shop, and then the brand's going to kick in, and it's going to go off again, and it's going to give you something completely useless like the T guy. And you're going to be like, what? What? Oh, shit. So, don't know how I feel about it, but it's going to be fun. So, happy for that regard. Vigilant Stoneborn, Tavern Tier 4, 2 attack, 6 health, Battle Cry, give a minion plus 6 health and taunt. Good buff. Another way to add taunt to our boards. Tier 4, so we're not going to see a ton of them. I think this is not a bad addition to the game at all. Ball of Minions, Tavern Tier 4, all. So this is like a Nightmare Amalgam. This thing is of all tribes. 5 attack, 5 health. When you sell this, give it stats to a random friendly minion. That means if you're just cycling buffs all over the place, when you finally sell this thing, you're not going to be wasting those stats. This is pretty awesome, and when it's gold, you buff 2 minions. No complaints there. And now for the busted thing. This one's fun, folks. Interrogator Whitemane, Tavern Tier 5. 8 attack, 5 health. Start of combat, give the enemies opposite this taunt. They take double damage. At the end of the game, when you know what your opponent has, or you have a really good idea because you fought them last combat, this is going to make some boards suffer bad. Just the double damage alone, but giving them taunt, I mean, this is going to shut down some beast boards. You can't leapfrog consistently if guy's getting hit. If he's got taunt, your Baron's got taunt, he's gonna die. I don't care if you have 3 or 4. He's going to die well before you need him to, and he's not going to be all the way on the right. So that makes him a lot more vulnerable because people are going to be trying to shuffle him around a little bit, trying to avoid this. This is a good technical play that shuts down some boards. Yeah, if you're playing elementals and someone throws this down and it hits your Nomi, you don't care. But if you're playing beasts and this thing hits your Baron, good, you're done. Game over. So this will definitely destabilize the game. I'm curious to see how what happens with beasts after this. Vanessa Van Cleef, Tavern Tier 5 Pirate, 3 attack, 7 health. Whenever this attacks, give your pirates +2, +1 permanently. So not as good as other pirates that buff them temporarily, but this one has to do the attack itself, but use them in conjunction, and wow, you get this thing Wind Fury. This is nasty. You know, it's Tavern Tier 5, so the 7 health doesn't matter that much, but it's buffing itself the moment it attacks. So it doesn't say other pirates, it says your pirates. So it's going to be a 5/8 when it attacks. If it's gold, it's going to be a 10/16. This is going to be very nasty. Pirates will see a very good bump from this. The Walking Tier 4, Tavern Tier 6, 4 attack, 6 health. At the end of your turn, give 4 friendly taunt minions +4/+4. I don't think we'll see this. I think there'll be niche boards where people play with this. This is Tavern Tier 6. And who wants this on their board for a Tier 6 minion? I mean, maybe I'm missing something. Maybe there's an amazing play here. But it's Tavern Tier 6, +4/+4. That at late in the game isn't going to be amazing. I mean, maybe if you have Mask, the reward for the quest where it makes your end of turns go off twice, giving them +8/+8. And if it's, you know, gold, +16/+16. Even then, I don't think you're going to want this on your board. But mean, if you could somehow get it early with taunts, I mean, there's tempo, but you're not going to get it early. It's Tavern Tier 6. The Minion pool update. So Prophet of the Boar has gone to a 2-3 from a 3-3. Otherwise, exactly the same. Still Tavern Tier 2, nothing crazy. Taragosa, so effectively Taragosa is going to work exactly the same. They changed the wording, but what this means is that minion up, we just saw White Mane up there, who's going to be giving them taunt, making them take double damage. They won't retain that. It's just going to be your enchantments, not your opponent's enchantments, which will now, if they didn't do this change, completely shut Taragosa down utterly. And then the big minion pool changes here, folks. Look at this. Spawn of N'Zoth, Gem Splitter, Reef Explorer, Nightmare Amalgam, Nosy Looter, and Urel are gone. Now, I loved Spawn of N'Zoth. Gem Splitter made so much work, and now, I mean, I don't think we're going to see Agam really much until you can get other tier 6 to work with it. And I don't think you're going to want to do that unless you're desperate or just get lucky and find them all together. So an already niche minion has now been nerfed even more. You no longer can see Shaker comp. I don't like that. I loved Reef Explorer. I thought this was fun to use with a brand, especially depending on, what you were playing. Anytime you get a brand, that was free and you can get extra gold from Reef Explorer. It could give you new directions. I loved that. Nightmare Amalgam's one of my favorites also. Nightmare Amalgam allowed you to do lots of cool stuff. I mean, now we have the tier 4 one that's all minions. It's essentially the same thing, but it's later. It's tier 4. There's going to be less of them. We're not going to see it as soon. So I don't love that change, but I don't hate it either. Nosy Looter. I mean, this is fun when you get this on turn like 6 and 7. 2 turns, it's going to give you a gold minion. That's cool, but if you get it on turn 6, you're not getting that minion until turn 8. And it's got to be an amazing minion. It did have a good stat line, but realistically, this doesn't really affect much. Urel, you didn't see used a ton, but Urel was decent. And early game, especially when used with a Nightmare Amalgam, it was very good. So not a huge change there. In Menagerie Mug has been back, is back. They didn't put a picture of it, but if I remember right, it's a 2-2 battle cry. Give 3 minions of 3 different tribes +1/+1. And I didn't really care when they removed it, and I'm kind of disappointed it's back just because it's a janky minion that's going to eat up a spot in the pool, but it doesn't really matter. And then we have the new Battle Bash Halloween's End collection. So we talked about this in the pre-patch. If you didn't see it, this is just going to be that if you purchase it, and if I remember right, it's $10, whatever runestones that is, basically it's $9.99. If you purchase it, you're going to get 2 free. You're going to get what? Everybody gets 1 free strike on the board. And if you buy it, you get 2. So that gives you 3. And then every time you top 4, you're going to get another reward until you get all 10 rewards. That's it. If you don't buy it, you only get the 1. It's still cool. This is a use of runestones I don't mind. It's, hey, I'm spending money for cosmetics. And if I don't want those cosmetics, who cares? So good change there. Don't mind that. And other than that, Lobby Legends, November 12th. That's it for BGs. Tell me what you think. Are you excited about some of the new minions? Do you like the new heroes? Are you mad about the minions that came out of the pool? Are you excited for these changes, or do you think some of them are just so busted, you think they're going to be coming back with the nerf stick, or in some cases the buff stick, to fix some of this stuff? Because some of these things are lackluster, and other of these things look like there's potential for some nastiness. We'll see. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you very much. Talk to you later. Bye.